Okay. So can you see the screen properly?
Yes, I can.
Right. So this is introduction to RPA. Now, the very fundamental question before we begin anything, right, is what is RPA? Okay. We know the full form is called Robotic Process Automation, right? But what does it really means? See, actually, the thing is, automation is not something that is very new in terms of technology.
Okay.
It has been around for a while. So we have been automating things for a long time, right? For example,
Yes.
when you basically use an ATM, okay, what is that? Automatic
Hmm.
teller machine. So it automates
Yes.
something that a human being used to do. Okay.
Huh.
In factories and other places, you have machines that automatically make things like cars and stuff. Okay. If you look
Hmm.
at on a software side, like your, and then we had macros, Excel macros. Everybody knows about them more or less. They used to automate some small task within the Excel or some even larger
Hmm.
ones, right? So
Yeah.
what is different with this kind of a automation is that all these automations, when we talk about, let us say, a Selenium web drivers or macros, they have a limited scope. Selenium, for example, can only do the automation of web-based applications. It cannot handle Windows-based. Similarly, if you
Okay.
think about Excel macros only work for Excel, right? Uh,
Yeah.
right. So these were like, okay, we have been using them for a while, but these are limitations. Now with RPA is there are tools like Bluebism or UiPath and Robotic Process Automation. But
Hmm.
what is different about them is they integrate multiple technologies within one product, right?
Okay.
So what happens is, like I have told you in the previously also, that this one product itself can automate multiple applications. They can handle Windows application, they can handle web applications, they can handle mainframe and Citrix applications as well, right? So what has really brought RPA to the main front is three things. First, it's non-invasive. Normally, previously when we used to do automation, we used to do with APIs, that
Hmm.
is application programming interfaces. Now they were great at automation, but there was a problem with them. Like if you want to use an API, you have to change the code of the application itself.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so with APIs there was a problem. Okay, and the problem is they had some limitations. So what were these limitations were? First of all, older applications could not use APIs. Okay,
Which applications?
old applications written in COBOL.
Okay.
So applications that actually, what happens is when you talk about banking applications, right? These are very
Huh.
old. They have been written 70, 80 years back. That time there was no provision of APIs or any such thing, right? So I want to
Huh.
automate a 80-year-old banking application. I can't do with APIs, right?
Okay.
How would I do that? Second thing is, even when sometimes APIs are available, it's not feasible to I don't have the control of application. For example, it might be a banking application of US client and I'm just an outsourcing partner. So I might want to automate the process to save the cost, but they will say no, you cannot touch our application, right?
Okay.
That
Huh.
is the second kind of scenario. So this is where the RPA comes in, and our first point, that it is non-invasive. It does not require any changes to the code of the application, right? So what happens is it automates the same thing with the GUI, that is graphical user interface. That is in the say it uses software in the same way human being does, through interface.
Okay.
Okay. So if I am clicking a button on a web page, the RPA will click the button on the web page in a very similar kind of way. Second is it's
Okay.
easy to scale. Easy to scale means once I have created the RPA bot, I can just copy and paste and modify the processes, modify it for different processes, right? So that
Okay.
is what we call is easy to scale.
Okay.
And third is RPA is future proof. right? So future proof means in future also it will keep on working, because again I am not interfacing directly with the code. I am just interfacing with your GUI that is present to the customer or to the operator. So that makes it a future proof technology.
So Abhinav, what will happen is the code will be written in some other language, and RPA is going to it will automate that particular code. This is what going to happen.
No, so that's the thing. Or RPA does not automate the code. Okay,
Okay,
RPA works on the GUI. Just like, for example, if you go and click on a website on a button, right? You are not interacting with the code. You are interacting with the interface part of the application,
okay,
right? So RPA works
huh.
exactly the same way. Okay, that is why it is in some sense slower than the APIs. But that's okay. That's a good trade-off, as long as we don't have to touch the underlying code of it.
Okay,
Right, so this is like a diagram which tells us what is RPA or what actually it does. So it emulates the human actions. This is pretty simple to understand. It basically works the same way as a human being would work, right? So
hmm.
for example, you are going to visit a website. Let us say you visit a Gmail very so often, right? Now tomorrow,
Uh,
the even if the Gmail's interfaces changes a bit, its functional.
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
yeah, audible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. Now,
so I'm saying that hello.
hello.
Yeah. Okay. So I am saying that with RPA, okay,
Yes.
what
Hmm.
happens with it mimics the action of human beings, right?
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that is one thing. Okay. Second, it operates any application with a user interface. So as long as the application has a user interface kind of a thing, it
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
operate it. Third
Okay.
is very
If it
important.
doesn't have a user interface, then it cannot operate on it.
No, it cannot.
Okay.
Okay. Third thing is process data in structured formats, and this is very important for RPA to process data. It should be in structured format and predictable, and structure should be predictable. I'll explain what I mean.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, let's go to one of the websites. Okay, so this is a website called RPA Challenge. Normally we use it. Uh,
Okay. I cannot see the website. I'm only
oh,
able to see this PPT.
oh, okay. Sorry about that. Uh, Screen. Okay, now can you see?
Hmm. Yeah, I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a website called rpchallenge.com. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, okay. So let's just start. Okay. So in this, for example, one of the first exercises is you have to download the invoice. Okay.
Hmm.
So read the row and download the invoice. Okay. So this is your invoice, for example. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can see that if I download any of the invoice, they are in the same format,
Same format. Yeah.
right? And this is very important for RPA. So let us say, for example, if in one invoice this number was here, and in second one the number was somewhere down here, it will create a
Hmm.
problem for the RPA.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
RPA is not very good with unstructured data. Okay,
Okay.
so there are efforts by which we can make it more comfortable with unstructured data, but by its very nature it is not very good with unstructured data. It expects the data
Unstructured
to
data.
come in a particular predictable structure.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Hmm.
Third is RPA can work continuously. Okay, just give
Hmm.
me a minute. I just want to close the window. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So third is work continuously. Now, what this means is, let us say, as a human being, think about that you are an operator, okay, whose job is to,
Hmm.
copy paste the data. And so you are in a, like
Hmm.
a call center kind of a situation or back office processing kind of a situation where you're just copy pasting data from one application to another, and you do some processing in Excel before you do that, right? So how many hours can you actually work like that? Maximum.
Hmm.
Okay, and maximum, if you are very good, you can work 8 hours. Okay, and that is very good if you are very good. What happens is, as a human being, we are not made to do repetitive tasks. We get bored. Okay, when we get bored, our brain kind of
Yes.
shuts down, right? And we then
Hmm.
tend to make mistakes. Okay,
Huh.
so our
Hmm.
brain is actually not meant to do repetitive tasks over long periods of time, right? But RPA is perfect for that. So how this works, Shraddha, is, let us assume that there's an employee in a KPO kind of setting. He earns 2.5 lakh rupees a year.
Hmm.
Okay, and
Okay.
he has another overhead cost of 1 lakh rupees. So he is going to office. He will sit somewhere. There's electricity, machine,
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
He will take leaves, and you have HR to manage him and a manager to manage him, and kind of a thing, right? So
Huh.
all that
Huh.
put together, let us say another 1 lakh in overhead cost is there. Plus, employees tend to resign and leave and move on. Okay,
Huh.
so there's a cost of retraining the new employee and
Huh.
all
Huh.
that
Other
stuff,
employees. Yes.
right? So but the same kind of a job can be done by RP robot, which can work 24 by 7, and there's no overhead cost with it. Okay, it will never leave.
Hmm.
It will work continuously.
Hmm.
Okay, it doesn't
Yes.
have to
Huh.
have an office, it doesn't have to have anything else. It sits on a
Huh.
server. And okay, even if the license cost of RPA is same as that of a person, still
Hmm.
it will bring in ROI, because it's actually working 24 by 7.
Huh. Huh.
Okay, and it has a very high accuracy rate. Like I said, even if you have a copy paste job, you will tend to make some mistakes.
Mistakes. Yes.
Yeah, so because let us say you are copying something from Excel into application, so
Hmm.
might be copying something from a row 44, but to by mistake click to row 45 happens.
Hmm.
Like I
Hmm.
said, human
Yes.
brain is not exactly meant for repetitive tasks, but RPA
Hmm.
will never make a mistake.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the kind of a things that basically RPA is best suited for. Okay,
Hmm.
so what happens when we put an RPA application in a company is two things. The robot gets a tedious kind of jobs like data collection, data entry, storing files. Okay, and the human
Hmm.
being is kept at high level kind of a thing.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me just put it this way: if we do analysis of a task, okay, any
Huh.
task, what we do is, what we understand is 70% of our time is actually spent on gathering the data. 30%, 20% goes into analysis kind of a thing, and 10% is what only goes in actual action. Think of it, let us say you want to buy a car tomorrow. Okay, so you
Hmm.
decided that you want to buy a new car for your family. So how would you go about it? Obviously you would, it's a big spend, so you would say, I want to do some research, right?
Yeah.
What are different car models, and what my requirement is, and how much mileage they give, or how they service, and so on and so forth, right?
Huh.
So that is what nothing but data gathering. Okay, then
Huh.
you will do analysis. Okay, I want a car that can seat 4 people but also have a very good mileage, and
Hmm.
it has a good service center nearby to
Hmm.
wherever I live, right? So that part is analysis. That is where you are actually making a choice. Okay, and the last 10% is you actually going and buying a car and doing the payments and stuff like that.
Huh. Hmm.
So same thing also applies to whenever we do a day-to-day task, right? So let us say when we go to office, and boss says, okay, hey, I want you to prepare this report. Okay,
Hmm.
so what happens is,
Okay.
first we gather the data. We will go meet our colleagues, figure out the data, right? So we'll
Hmm.
gather all the data, then we will do the formatting of the data and put it in a kind of a structure, right? Then we do
Yeah.
analysis and we say, okay, this is something that makes sense, this is something I will not put in report because it doesn't make sense. Okay,
Yeah.
and then finally I make a report and submit it to my boss. So that is a 10% of a thing, right?
Huh.
Same thing applies everywhere, right? In all our work related tasks, this is the pattern that we actually follow. Now imagine how good it would be that I would not have to do 70% of the task. That will be done by robot. Robot will gather all the
Huh.
data for me. Robot will also put that in format for me. All I as a human being now have to do is to figure out whether the robot has done the good job of it, or whether I need to modify it, right? So that is the basic idea behind introducing the RPA kind of setup in an organization.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look
Yeah.
at some of the examples of RPA, and then I will show you a video of a RPA robot in action. Okay,
Okay.
so a lot of tasks are there, like simple tasks, like let us say payroll processing. Everybody goes to office, they get a salary, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Behind it, the scene, there's a manager who actually calculates the salary based on what is there in your offer letter, how many leaves you have taken, okay,
Hmm.
uh, and what your tax information that you have given. So based on
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, Abhinav, I was not able to hear
am
you.
I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Hmm. Yeah. So payroll processing.
Yeah. So, uh, okay, just give me a minute. I think something is. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So, that is how the HR manager basically looks at your salary,
Yeah. Huh.
So, all right. So, this is the kind of exactly the kind of a rule based process that we are talking about. Okay. The process is standardized. That means for everybody, salary is calculated in exactly the same way, right?
Hmm.
You have your
Hmm.
base salary, you have your lease, whether paid or unpaid, you have your tax information, and things are added, subtracted. So based on a formula kind of a thing, right?
Okay.
So that is a kind of a thing that is a very good process for for automation. Similarly, renewal processes. So you have
Hmm.
contracts. Okay. Now these contracts
Huh.
tend to be renewed from time to time. So this can
Huh.
be done by the robot.
Okay.
Because it's a standardized process, it's a rule based, and these two things
Hmm.
are very very important for RPA. The process, whatever that you are automating, must be standardized, okay, and it must be rule.
Okay.
To think about giving a loan application to somebody, okay. So bank has a very simple
Okay.
criteria that let us say you have a salary of 30,000 rupees, okay,
Hmm.
then only you are
Huh.
eligible for X amount of loan. If you have more than 50,000 rupees, you are eligible for Y amount of loan, okay,
Yes.
so
Huh.
on and so forth. So when somebody, let us say, puts an application, the RP robot can automatically scan all the information, put it into system, and figure out that okay, am I eligible for
This much amount of loan or
yeah,
not?
am I eligible for loan or not in the first place, and if I'm eligible, to what amount I can get it, right? So
Hmm.
rule based
Hmm.
process, predictable and stable, okay. But wherever in a process comes the human this thing, human judgment,
Hmm.
RPA will not be able to do that. So, for example, maybe
Huh.
in bank, there is a scenario where we say, okay, even hello,
Hello. Yeah.
let us say even a bank, let us say there is a scenario where the branch manager says, so even though the salary of the employee is 29,000, that means he does not meet the
Huh.
criteria. He's a very old customer of our branch, and we should take that
Huh.
risk because we know he will pay us back. Okay,
Okay.
so that is the human judgment part of it. But
Hmm. Hmm.
how do we explain this to the robot? We cannot, right?
Yeah.
Such a process is actually not suitable for RP point of
Huh.
view. Okay? So let me show you some of this before we. Okay. Uh, so these are some of the videos of the robots doing the processes. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a currency conversion. Okay.
Okay.
And this will actually be one of the projects that you will also be doing as we later progress in the course.
Okay.
It's just automatically going to a currency converter website.
Hmm.
Okay, it will read the data from the Excel file. So it will say from currency to currency and currency rate. Then copies that converted one, this one, and puts it back into the Excel file.
Acha, okay, okay. So here we are only going to provide it data in a particular format, and then it will automatically go to the website, collect the data, and give us back.
Yes,
Okay, okay. Now I'm getting it. Okay.
right. So you can see this is actually kind of a simple thing. Okay.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
these kinds of tasks are actually required, but they actually are not value-added tasks, right?
Hmm.
So think of this, that if I was to give this kind of a thing to a human being, how
Huh.
boring that would be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I'll give you a live
Okay.
example with the one I encountered in my career. So I was working a
Okay.
few years back for Anita Dongre. So Anita Dongre is a fashion designer. She has all these brands like Global AC and stuff
Okay.
like that,
Huh. Yeah. 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 Anita
right?
don't. Huh.
So you probably had heard of it. Now they have this
Yeah.
showrooms all across the city. In Mumbai only they have 100 showrooms. Okay.
Huh.
Now
Huh.
what happens is uh, they have employees in the showroom who comes in and put the attendance using swipe card, right? Pretty
Huh.
simple
Huh.
stuff. So
Huh.
there was this HR manager there whose only job, okay, was
Huh.
to log into the machine, okay, of a
Okay.
particular store remotely, download the data into
Huh.
Excel file, format it, and upload into HRM system. Now
Okay.
there are 100 stores, so she had to do it 100 times. So that would used to take
Yeah.
actually around half a day. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a job
Huh.
that actually needs to get done, because otherwise, how will you calculate salary properly, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
think of it:
Hmm.
does this job actually adds any value to the company?
No.
No,
No.
it does not, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is a kind of a job. Then again, that is very good candidate for RPA robot. Okay, I'll
Hmm.
just stop this video here for now.
Abhinav, just one question. Is it converting different currencies?
Yes, it is. So you can see the code of currencies. Let me just stop the video for a minute.
Hmm. So it is directly going to that particular website, whichever currency
Yeah,
we want to convert it.
that's correct.
Okay.
So let's play it. I'll just make it a bit smaller and play it. Okay. So you can see here in Excel file, this is currency code AED, AFN, ALL,
Yeah,
EOA, right?
yeah,
And I have amount on the left side hand column. Okay.
huh.
And I am converting all it to the same base currency, that is Bardian dollar,
Barbie dollar. Okay,
right? So let's look at
okay.
again. What it does is just copies that particular amount and code and puts it into XC
Huh,
currency converter website. Okay.
huh.
So I'm converting from, for example, AED to BDD. So that is the first
Hmm.
result. Then I will just move on to the next one. So obviously it is converting to all different currencies.
Okay,
Now this is doing
okay.
Afghanistan to Barbarian dollar. Okay, for the amount
Huh.
again. So this is
Hmm.
a exercise that actually we do at the end of our course, and this
Okay,
exercise takes in all the concepts that you will actually going to learn in the course. So concept like
okay.
loops, because this is looping. Concept like
Huh.
reading data from the Excel file. Concept like spying and manipulating the web-based application. Okay.
Hmm.
Concept also like queues that allow multiple
Cues.
robots to
Huh.
work on the same set of data. Okay. So all
So
those
this
things
has this task involves multiple robots.
you can actually employ the multiple robots as well using the concept of queues. Okay. So
Okay,
we'll come to that a bit later when we are more deeper into our course.
okay. And
Uh,
this is made using UiPath only.
no, no, no. So there are multiple programs which can do this. So you have a
Hmm.
Blue Prism, you have UiPath, you have Automation Anywhere, and there are actually 56 vendors, okay,
Okay,
in the
okay.
market. But we are only going to talk about top three of them. Okay,
Huh. Huh.
uh, because they have the maximum amount of coverage.
Okay. Okay.
Plus, what I've seen is any other tool, they are more or less some kind of a copy of these tools,
Okay. Okay.
right? Uh, so not much of a difference in that sense. Second, in
Hmm.
all RPA tools, there is kind of a similarity that they are components that are made up, right? So you have loops,
Hmm.
you have data items where you can store data,
Hmm.
you have packages, predefined activities, and basically predefined components which you can put together by drag and drop and make your
Hmm.
own program.
Okay.
At a very basic level, Shraddha, if you think about it, the RPA is nothing but a recording of a process,
Okay. It
right?
is a recording of a process.
Yes, just like you can record a song and you can play it again and again, right?
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is a recording of a process. Okay, by very
Okay.
definition, a process is just a recording of set of activities that I do in the same sequence again and again, right?
Huh.
Whenever I say, hey, this is a process, what I mean is this is a set of activities that you have to do,
Hmm.
okay, to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Okay, so in our case,
Okay.
I have to do this activity to figure out what the end result of the conversion is.
Yeah.
What are the activities here? That is, go to Excel file, read the amount, read the from currency, read the to currency, put them in the
Huh.
website and click on the go button. Then read the
Okay.
result and copy and paste it back
Hmm.
into the Excel file. Do this for all the different data that is there in Excel file, right? So that is a
Yeah.
process. It's just like a recording of something, right?
Okay. Huh.
So
Okay. Fine.
yeah, all right. Now let's look at a different one. Uh, so this is an employee onboarding. This is done in Blue Prism.
Okay.
This video showcases new hire onboarding, automated through RPA to reduce costs and increase speed to completion. The process starts with a bot logging into Outlook and opening the
Okay. Uh, so this video has actually been slowed down, so you can uh, observe it. But
Hmm.
this whole process actually takes in within a matter of few seconds. So right now, this is the bot that you see on the right hand side. You can see it's like a flow chart,
Flowchart. Yeah.
right? But this flow chart actually does the activity. So as the flow chart moves, the activity you will be able to see the activity on
Huh.
left hand side. Okay, just sorry for the annoying music. It's not
email
my
to
creation.
extract new hire information from Excel.
So what's happening on left hand side? The robot is doing it.
Okay.
The bot reads the form, going through relevant information and storing as necessary. The bot now opens Outlook and writes an email to request more information from the new hire. Once the bot receives the email from the same new hire with updated information, it proceeds to read the attachment. The bot then opens Taleo Enterprise Systems via the internet to validate new hire information. It proceeds to enter the new hire profile within Taleo and validates candidate match through a welcome search. The bot proceeds to open PeopleSoft to complete the new hire profile. The bot then completes information in PeopleSoft about the new hire related to contact information, background, and organizational relationships. Once complete, the bot sends an email to payroll to initiate background checks. It also sends an email to sign working safe and secure technology equipment. Finally, the bot sends an email requesting building access for the new hire, including notification to payroll, of the new hire information.
Right. So that was our bot taking a document from an email, okay, reading it and putting the data into an HRMS system, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
All on its own without any kind of a supervision. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Huh.
So employee onboarding, creating a user ID and password in IT systems. These are kind of everyday things that these kind of jobs actually have a name. They are called armchair jobs. Okay.
Okay. Armchair jobs.
Yeah. Why? Because you just have to sit one place, see the information on one screen, scroll your chair, put it into another screen. Okay. They are the kind of jobs that actually need to be done, but they don't actually generate a lot of value for the organization. So earlier, what used to happen was these kind of jobs used to be outsourced to countries like India and Philippines. Okay? But at some point, cost also got up here because of the competition. So then these technologies came in. Now, first you have a cost going up even in countries like India and Philippines. Second, you have this lot of political resistance also. Okay, people saying don't outsource the job, don't outsource the jobs. We are losing the job. Even they don't want to do it. So that is where this kind of technology is now being adopted, because then they say we are not outsourcing the job, we are just automating it right here in US or whatever. So, and these are like I said, these are not the kind of jobs that people even want to do. Okay? We grow up saying that, hey, I want to be a doctor or engineer or artist or something else. Nobody ever says I want to be a data entry operator. Okay? So these kind of jobs, in any case, are low productivity jobs. Okay, and they are more about compliance and getting things done because they need to be done, rather than something that is more suitable for a human being. Okay, so these are the kind of jobs that in future will be done totally by RPA. Now, what has happened is because of COVID and everything, RPA has come into sharper focus. Okay. The companies where the RPA was already going on, they found out that they did not get impacted very much because RPA took care of a lot of things. The companies where the RPA was not there, they now are considering RPA in a big way because they said, no, we can't be in this kind of situation ever again. Okay. So because of this kind of a thing, a lot of opportunities are in RPA is opening up.
Okay. Good.
Right. So we also saw what RPA can automate. Okay, let's look at RPA journey and how we begins this thing. Normally, what happens is we have a discovery phase where we figure out which are the processes that we want to automate. We have a build phase where actual coding takes place. Then we have a manage phase, run phase, engage phase, and measure phase. Okay, so manage phase is once I have built a bot, I also need to manage it and run it. Okay. Engage, I'll explain what that is, and then measure. Measure means how much my bot is working actually. Okay. How much I expected to work, how much is actually working. So let's look at the detail of these phases. Okay. So in discovery phase, what we actually do is we kind of make a lot of noise about RPA. Okay, and try to get people on board. The thing is, there are a lot of people who are afraid of RPA because they perceive it as that there will be job loss. Okay, so while it was true initially, it's actually not true anymore. Right now, it's not so much about job loss as it is about increasing the efficiency of employee. Okay, think of a trader, let us say a stockbroker kind of a guy who actually has to who do the trading every day, and he relies on reports. Okay, now these reports must be generated in time to figure out, okay, what trade we did yesterday and how much profit we made and which trade did not go through and stuff like that. Okay, so there what happens is he either has to spend his own time or he'll have to hire somebody to do it. Okay, because without this data, he cannot work actually. Think about RPA bot doing this data at night, and when the trader comes in, he has a report emailed to him already. So trader can actually
Okay,
come in.
got it.
Yeah, he can actually come in and then he start look at the reports and start trading from a go, right? So that is the kind of a thing that we do in discovery.
Okay.
Then let's say we also define end-to-end process governance. Okay, this is basically
And
as I later on teach you in RP business analyst course. It's called PDD generation, or process definition document. So we document all the processes that we are actually going to automate, and there's a format for that. Okay. And the third
okay.
thing is generate a strong pipeline of automation opportunities and assess them objectively. Okay. So this is nothing but a very glorified way of saying that we make a list of all the processes and we rank them, right? So
Okay.
there are three ranking methods basically. I again, as a part of BA course, this will be taught to you, but at a very basic level, it's like this. We make a list of RPA processes that we think are suitable candidates. Okay, and we give them three ranks. Rank 1, matlab this process can be totally automated.
Okay.
Rank 2 means it process can be partially automated. Okay, so let us say a process is 10 steps, I can automate 7 steps and still get a great amount of value, and 3 steps will still remain the manual. Okay, and rank 3 means this process cannot be automated.
Okay.
Okay? So how this ranking is achieved, that is a part of the RPA BA course journey that you will be taking in next few days.
Okay.
Then you have a build phase. Okay, build phase is where coders actually read the PDD and change that logic into actual RPA, the kind of thing you just saw in the videos.
Abhinav, just 1 second. If a particular process, if we define, suppose 10 processes and some of them cannot be automated, then what do we do?
So there are two things, only two logical things we can do. Okay, let us say we have 10 processes and we have identified that out of that 6 can be fully automated, 2 can be partially automated, and 2 cannot be automated.
Okay.
Okay, so what we will do is we will then have to ask the question why those two processes cannot be automated. Okay.
Okay.
So is it that the process is not very well defined? In which case we will have to re-engineer we might have to re-engineer the process. Okay.
Okay.
And then automate it, or we might not automate it. Simple.
Okay, but if we are not going to automate it, then it means it will require human intervention.
Yes, it will. See, understand that even when we are automating the processes, it will still require human intervention. Why is that? That is because of exceptions. See, wherever there is a process, there will be exception. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we know that if a process is there, the exception will come. Okay. So when the exception comes, the robot is actually not able to handle it. So in RPA, what we actually do is we actually make the robot generate a report of exception and email it to a human being.
Okay.
So human beings are then only in charge of managing the exceptions, right? So think of a robot that gets 100 requests per hour. So if our exception rate is 10%, then we know that out of those 100 requests, 10 cases will be that the robot will not be able to manage. Okay. So those 10 cases still need to be done. We cannot just not do them.
Yeah. Okay.
So those 10 cases are looked on by human being because now they require analysis. So human being looks at it, analyze why the robot was not able to do those cases manually, and then makes the adjustment to the robot. So next time the robot is able to do those cases. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay. Great question, by the way. Okay. So we have discovery, we have built. Now other phases are manage. Okay. So manage means what? Processes are not set in stone. Okay. Today we have processes are not set in stone, right? They are not permanent, right? They always change because of the business requirement or external factors. Okay. So let's go back to our invoice generation that we were seeing here today.
Yeah.
So let us say that tomorrow government says that okay, this invoice you are generating, fine. Okay, but I want to include something called TIN number here also.
Hmm.
Okay, and that
Okay.
TIN number must be reported. Okay,
Huh.
in every calculation, the TIN number must be there. It should always also there be an invoice.
Hmm.
Okay, so what happens is the process change. Okay, so if the process
Yeah.
changes, my robot needs to be modified,
Manage. Okay. Hmm.
right? So that is what
Hmm.
is we call manage.
Okay.
Then we have run. Okay,
Hmm.
now normally what happens is automations are scheduled throughout the day. For example, process A will run from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Hmm. Hmm.
Process B
Hmm.
will run from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So on and so forth.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, but sometimes I might need to juggle the schedule, right? So normally the
Uh,
thing is one robot can easily handle multiple processes. Okay,
multiple.
processes. For example,
Okay.
I just need
Uh-huh.
one robot to manage the finance, the HR,
Hmm.
the marketing, and everything else. Given
Okay.
enough time is there. Okay,
Okay.
so I can utilize the whole robot. Okay,
Okay.
uh, so when I say run, basically this is what administrator does. Okay,
Hmm.
to run the program. Now there are two kinds of robots that are there in RPA. That is attended and
And
unattended.
non unattended. Huh.
Right. So
Hmm.
attended ones are the ones where I start the robot. It's on my desktop. I can start it
Hmm.
as in an IP, and
Hmm.
it helps me complete some tasks. Unattended ones
Hmm.
are the ones that run as per scheduler, and they mostly do batch jobs.
Okay.
Okay, so let us say a robot starts every morning at 9 a.m., looks at all the files that have been dumped in a folder, and starts processing them,
Okay.
like insurance claim and stuff like that.
Okay. Just one thing. The
Yeah.
capacity, how much a robot can work, is decided by what?
Good question. So it depends based on the time it takes to complete a process.
Okay.
Okay. See, there are only 24 hours in a day, whether it's for human being or for
Huh.
robot. Okay.
Correct.
Now the robot obviously can done a task much faster than a human being can. So let us say
Hmm.
a human being takes 10 minutes to complete one task. The robot
Uh,
will take 2 minutes. Okay,
hmm.
that's how fast it is. But still,
Okay.
it has a limited amount of time to complete, right?
Uh, uh,
Because I need those reports by tomorrow. So there's only
uh,
so many reports a robot is able to make. So there
hmm.
are two things we normally say that okay,
Hmm.
either have multiple robots
Hmm.
to cope up with volume, or let the robot run for a longer period of time.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
given those two constraints, really how much
Hmm.
a robot is able to take depends upon the processes that robot is assigned and how much time each process takes.
Okay.
Okay, so within a
Okay.
24-hour cycle, how much work the robot can get it done.
Okay.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
we have engaged phase.
Engage.
Okay,
Hmm.
so
Hello.
yeah, sorry.
Hmm.
Yeah. So in engaged phase, what happens is we need to engage the people, right? So we need to educate them and about robots and everything. And then we have
Hmm.
measure phase. Measure is simple. I want to know what is the productivity of my robots. How
Okay.
many requests they have been handling per day. Okay.
Okay.
What is the
Hmm.
failure rate? How many exceptions are coming up?
Okay.
Okay. So like we say,
Eh,
what gets measured gets improved. That applies
hmm.
to RPA as well.
Okay. Abhinav, just one thing. What is the difference between run and engage?
Okay. Run is basically done by administrator. It's a scheduling activity.
Hmm.
Okay. So for example, let us say there robot has 5 processes. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and one of the process today doesn't have any data.
Uh,
Okay. So that means that is robot has some idle time, right?
hmm. Hmm.
I might run some other process for a longer period of time, and because I noticed that that process has more data.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that's a scheduling activity, and that is what we call run.
Okay.
Okay. Engage is more of a activity with human beings.
Okay.
Okay.
It is more of human beings.
Yeah. So engage is about exception management.
Acha.
Robot was, like I said, wherever there's a process, there will be exceptions. Okay, that is very predictable. All processes have exceptions. Okay. So in engage kind of a thing, once a robot has done, what does it does with the cases it was not able to do or not able to execute? It needs to give them to the human beings so that they can analyze it and do the things manually.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Right. So going back to, for example, our currency converter process, let us say in our currency file, we encounter currency that the robot was not able to convert. Okay. Digging further, we found that that currency is actually not listed on site. Okay. And this actually happened with me. So we were doing a process and there was a currency called Pataka.
Pataka, okay.
Pataka, have you ever heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of it.
No, nobody has.
Which country?
Yeah, so I'll show you. It is actually actual currency.
Okay. Which country has Pataka?
Let's find out, right? Yeah, see, it's Macanese. Okay, and I don't know where Macanese is. I mean, I have not even heard of the country. But there is a country called Macanese, and they have a country called Pataka. Right? So this kind of things actually happen. Okay. So now what you need to do is, okay, you need to say, oh, okay, this site does not have that currency, but I need to convert it anyways. Okay. So what are things I can do? Either I can manually do it and put in system, or I can tell the robot to go to some other site to do this currency conversion, or I can write to the site and tell them, okay, hey, I also convert this currency, please add this currency to your database, right? So I need to take corrective action, so as to say. Okay. So now to take the corrective action, what I had to do was I had to analyze, and I had to complete things manually for a time being.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is what engage is all about.
Okay, understood.
Okay. And then we have a measure. Okay.
Measure, understood. Yeah.
Yeah. So measure is pretty straightforward. It's basically analytics of the robot. So what are the duration the robot ran? Okay. How many cases it produced? How many exception rates? How many successes? Okay. How much time it took to do all those things? Dashboard. In short. Okay. Now let's look at the kind of roles that are there in a RPA kind of a team. Okay. So you have typical developer role that somebody gives you instructions and you make the automation per se. Right? So like I showed you in that first xd.com kind of a thing. So you have to document that process. Okay. And then that document you will give to developer who will actually create a program to do that kind of activity.
Okay.
So developers, this is pretty straightforward, and I think you can understand that developers are the ones who actually create those automations. Then we have a solution architect. Solution architect is basically the person who decides which RP tool I'm going to use. Okay. Whether this process I can technically automate or not. How will I schedule things? Right. So he is like a top guy, technically speaking, he's a very top guy. Looks at things from a big picture point of view.
Okay. Got it.
Next is a business analyst. Okay. And I guess our next step is to start the RPA business analyst course. Right. So you might as well as know now. Business analyst. Sorry.
What did you just say?
I'm saying our next step is to teach you about the RPA business analysis.
Okay.
So
the other person, the last person we have talked about, is he different from business analyst?
Yes.
Solution architect.
Yes.
Okay.
Solution architect is a purely technical guy. Okay. He
Okay.
looks at things from technical point of view.
Okay.
Okay. So he might look at what is the best way to integrate RPA with a particular system.
Hmm.
Okay. But BA does something very different. Let us say there's a process, it's also automable. Okay.
Hmm.
Technically.
Hmm.
But should I automate it?
Acha.
What criteria is there? How will I select which process to be automated? At the beginning
Okay.
of this lecture, we talked about, if we go back to our slide, okay, and okay, yeah, and we went to
Hmm.
the discovery phase,
Hmm.
and we discovered there's a process that can be automated, right,
Hmm. Yeah.
based on these criteria,
Huh.
okay, but that is still technicality, right? That only
Hmm.
tells us that this process can be automated from technical point of view, okay,
Okay.
but should it be done from a business
Huh.
point of view? So let us say we have a
Okay.
process of making budget, okay,
Huh. Huh.
it's a huge process, it takes about 2 days, and
Huh.
uh, the solution architect and the developer are saying that yes, we can automate it, okay,
Huh.
but here is the
Huh.
thing, it happens only once a year,
Oh,
okay,
yes. Huh.
right? So
Huh.
should I automate something that happens only once a year for 2 days? Does it make business sense,
No. Huh.
right? Will that
Huh.
give me an ROI, return on my investment?
Hmm.
Okay, those are the
Okay.
questions that a BA asks. That is rule one.
Okay.
Second, BA
Okay.
makes up PDDs. Okay, so all those automations that a developer will actually develop, where will a developer
Huh.
get the information what to develop? Okay, who gives
Huh.
it to him? That's the BA's job.
Okay.
So BA is a kind of a face of the team.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's why I was actually telling you in earlier also that why don't you consider the BA as a job role?
Huh. Huh.
Because
Huh.
it's not that BA does not have his hands on things technically. It's just that he
Hmm.
doesn't do it on a day-to-day basis. On
Okay.
a
Okay.
day-to-day
The
basis,
developer
what
has
BA
to do
does
them.
is BA maps the processes. Okay, he
Hmm.
makes a
Hmm.
very detailed document. And as I teach you about RPA BA course in next few days,
Hmm.
the exercise you will come to know how much amount of thought goes into making those documents. Okay,
Okay.
but it's a BA
Yeah.
who makes those documents. He goes to the stakeholders, he gets that
Hmm.
information, and he creates a
Hmm.
document. And on the basis of
Okay.
this document, the developer
Huh.
develops his code.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a very client-facing kind of a role. This is the role
Huh.
where you get to interact with the top management, the VPs, the
Okay.
CEOs, and the CIOs. Developer actually never
Okay.
gets to interact with the top management. He will only come to you. If he has a doubt, he
Huh.
will come to his team lead or it will come to you.
Okay.
And it is your job to make developer understand what is going on in the process.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
bit one level up to a BA as an implementation manager.
Okay.
Okay, and
Hmm.
implementation manager basically makes sure that whatever the technical things we are doing, they are
Hmm.
implemented properly. So both the
Okay.
BAs, now what happens in most organizations, the role of BA and implementation manager has got merged
Okay.
because
Single
RP
person.
projects are
Hmm.
typically very short life cycle projects. So they go on for 6 to 9 months.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and if it's a very bureaucratic organization, maybe 1 year,
Hmm.
not more than that. Okay,
Okay.
after that, the
Hmm.
project may enter into a maintenance phase. One or two
Hmm.
programmers will be assigned to maintain the program and stuff like that, and then you move on to the next project.
Okay.
Okay, and a lot of people ask me this question that okay, if it is a very short term project, is my job in any kind of a danger?
Yeah. Hmm.
No, because there is no dearth of projects. So you complete a
Okay.
project in one department, then you move on to another department, and the companies now are automating all departments. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Huh.
if you stay in the same company, the probability is for one client, if they have got some big client, you will be doing projects with that client for at least 2 to 3 years easily.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if it is not a big client, then in most probability that company has a couple of smaller clients, right? So you will be doing one client per year.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So no, it does not mean that. And second thing, like I said, things break in RPA,
Acha.
and you need to
Acha.
fix them from time to time. So you need to budget some time for those activities as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So in reality, what happens is your 20% of the time is spent with fixing things with the current line. Okay.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
80% is done on new project.
Okay.
Okay. So that is how it goes. Then
But there are ample of opportunities na in RPA.
yeah. I mean, RPA is actually one of the four trending uh, technologies that is generating jobs. So what are those four technologies? Okay. So first is
Hmm.
you have cloud.
Hmm.
Second is RPA.
Okay.
Third is cyber security.
Hmm.
Okay. And fourth is
Hmm.
mobility. Mobility means apps, development of mobile apps, like for
Yeah. Yeah.
iOS and
Hmm.
Android. Okay. These
Hmm.
are the only
Hmm.
four areas which are generating any kind of jobs.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now the thing is, except for RPA, all the three
Hmm.
areas it's very difficult to get into.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Why? Because
Okay.
they are very technical. So if you want to do cloud, you have to do Amazon or Google Cloud, and those are very technical fields. Even
Hmm.
technical people
Hmm.
don't find it easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Similarly, cybersecurity is, I think, somewhat okay, but still, uh, barrier to entry is a pretty high.
Okay.
RPA, no such thing. RPA is actually one of the things that stand out because anybody can learn this easily. Okay,
Okay.
and this is actually some technology that saves a lot of money for companies. Okay,
Okay.
so
Hmm.
imagining where a task was, I was like there have been a lot of insurance companies which were saying that previously it used to take me 5 days to process an insurance claim because there are a lot of hell lot of rules. Okay,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
now it takes half an hour. From 5 days to half an hour. Imagine how much money they are saving.
Yeah.
So these are not only high in demand kind of jobs, they are also very high paying jobs.
Okay.
So in that sense, yeah, things are good right now.
Okay.
But like any new field, the people who get in early, they tend to make the most. Okay.
Okay.
Because wherever there's a demand, there will be supply somehow. People will rush to learn,
Hmm.
and in couple of years, maybe 5 years down the line, there will be
Hmm.
ample amount of talent.
Yeah.
Okay. So like if you get in now, then you are ahead of the curve. And this is a technology
Okay.
that is not going anywhere. It's evolving day by day.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now the third set of roles is infrastructure engineer. Okay. Now
Hmm.
to infrastructure engineer is a guy who takes care of the physical infrastructure like servers and stuff like that. Okay.
Huh.
So obviously
Okay.
these RPA programs they need to run somewhere. So what should be
Hmm.
the
Hmm. Hmm.
configuration of the server we like? Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
How will it connect to other programs which is running, virtual machines and stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's a
Okay.
technical, core technical role of infrastructure engineer. And then fourth, you have RPA support.
Hmm.
RPA support is pretty standard. You have made the robots, now they are automating stuff like that, but obviously they need to be maintained from time to time, right?
Yeah.
So you have a RPA support or administrative kind of guy who will look at all the robots.
Okay.
And if any small changes need to be made to their configuration, it will be the
Hmm.
RPA support guy. So these
Okay.
are all the roles. So yeah. So the
Hmm.
roles that you are actually going for is RP developer and
Huh.
RPA
Business
business
analyst.
analyst.
Yeah.
Okay? These two things are the roles
Hmm.
you are going for. So our understanding is okay. Learn both of the things, and then you can decide which one you want or which
Hmm.
one is more interesting to you, and then you obviously you can will be helping you find a job in that one.
Okay.
Then we have a concept called hyper automation.
Hyper automation.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a buzzword right now, but it is something that you should be aware of.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hmm.
hyper automation is nothing but enhancing the regular RPA with new technologies.
Hmm.
Okay. So you have AI skills, you have machine learning. Okay. You have long running workflows, process
Hmm.
mining, native integrations, and advanced analytics. These are the add-on on the core of RPA. Okay. So
Hmm.
let's look at what all of these things mean. Okay. Uh, so in our course, we will not be learning about them, but since you are going to be in this industry, you should be
Hmm.
aware of things going on and all the buzzwords and everything is.
Okay, so after RPA, if after like down the line, if I want further, if I want to study, so I can learn any of these skills then.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have AI skills. Okay.
Hmm.
What is AI
Artificial
skills
intelligence.
basically means is you have things like natural language processing, which are using chatbots, and you
Hmm.
have OCR, that is called optical character recognition. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, so OCR is something that we will be actually learning
Hmm.
in one of the developer courses, right? Uh,
Okay.
the best example of OCR skill is the CAPTCHA, right? So let us say you have simple
Acha.
word CAPTCHA.
Huh.
So now this RPA tool like Blue Prism or UiPath, what they can do is they can read that CAPTCHA, okay, and enter it into
Okay.
the system.
Okay.
Okay. So I will
Okay.
show this same thing to you tomorrow. How they
Hmm.
do it. Okay. And
Okay.
even
Hmm.
RP tools have reached a stage where they can even do the complex captchas like Google Captcha, where you have to select the image.
Yeah.
So even
Out
they,
of many images.
yeah, out
Hmm.
of this select the street lights, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Hmm.
So now RP tools are able to solve that puzzle as well on their own,
Okay.
right?
Nice.
So they are actually approaching a point where they will pass, maybe pass the turning test. That is, you will not be
Hmm.
able to tell what you are interacting with a human being or a machine.
Acha. Huh.
So that much sophisticated these tools have become. Second is machine learning.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
Remember how I told you that process needs to be maintained because there are some
Huh.
small changes that happen. But with
Huh.
machine learning, what we can do is uh,
Hmm.
with the machine learning, you can automatically process the RP robot automatically learns from its mistakes.
Hmm.
So if we show it once that okay, this is the correct way, next time it will remember that, and if it encounters the same situation, it will automatically adapt.
Okay.
Okay. Long running workflows is a bit of a buzzword, but what it means is okay. Normally,
Hmm.
what we used to happen was we were till now we were able to automate only shorter processes. Okay.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
with this kind of enhancement, we are able to automate very lengthy processes as well.
Acha.
Right. Process mining is nothing but a way of figuring out all the variations in a process. Okay.
All the variations in a process.
Yes. Okay. So the UiPath has a tool called Selenius, which actually does a process mining. Right. When I say all
Hmm.
the variations in a process, what I mean is let us again go back to the you know our example of I'm giving out a loan as a bank to a
Hmm.
customer, right? So what are all the
Huh.
variations in my processes? What are the cases? Case A, I get somebody has selected 30,000, I can give them X amount. Case B, I give them
Hmm.
the Y amount. Okay. Case C,
Hmm.
this thing. Case D, customer is not qualified but is has been customer for a very long time. Okay. So
Huh.
he still
Huh.
I can still give him the amount given that human
Loan.
being gives the eligibility criteria as okay.
Okay.
So all these are nothing but variations
Hmm.
in a process. Okay.
Okay.
All the variations, including the exceptions, right? So
Okay.
tools like
Huh.
Selenius, what they do is they automatically capture all the variations of a process and generate
Huh.
some of a document automatically.
Okay.
Okay. So that
So
is process.
the UiPath and other tools of RP, they can be used with other tools also.
Yes. So I can actually, for example, if I'm working with something like SAP, Tally, or whatever, I can use process mining to figure out how the process works and what are all the things that happen in that process.
And UiPath, it accepts the results of other softwares. Like Tally, you said it will
Yes,
accept the.
yes,
Okay.
it does.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we won't have to convert it into some other format. It supports all the format UiPath.
Yeah, actually it does.
Okay.
So UiPath can work with any software. It can work with SAP. It can work with web applications. It can work with Oracle. Anything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
Then you have native integrations.
Hmm.
Okay. Native integration means with RPA I can use APIs also.
Acha.
Okay. So I can run the APIs from within the RPA tool.
Hmm.
And then finally we have advanced analytics.
Hmm.
Okay. Advanced analytics again is a very what you called fancy word for dashboard. Okay.
For?
Dashboard.
Okay.
Right. So I measure how my robot is doing. Okay. But
Hmm.
I am
Hmm.
able to measure a lot of aspects of it. And I am able to figure out how much return on investment I'm getting from that particular running that particular robot.
Okay.
Okay. That is all it
Hmm.
means.
Hmm.
Okay. Right. So
Hmm.
when we say hyper automation, is basically nothing but an approach in which organization rapidly identify and automate as many processes as possible. Okay,
Hmm.
including knowledge work. Right. So
Knowledge work.
yeah.
Hmm.
So basically, this is how we sum up hyper automation. The business processes most suited for automation are rapidly and scientifically identified. Okay. By performing the
Hmm.
accepted activities, robot learns new skill and gradually improve their work. People and robots are
Okay.
enabled to automate together basic to complex end-to-end processes, and companies have a thorough and unbiased view on the impact of automation. Right? Simple
Okay.
words, if I say this is nothing, but I start with the automating a dumb process. Okay.
Hmm.
Initially, robot
Okay.
do things very mechanically. As
Hmm.
time goes on, the robot learns what are the variations that comes into a process. Okay.
Okay.
Simple thing is, let us say India, right? In one of the
Hmm.
process, the country name is India. Now I can misspell India.
Hmm.
Okay? A human being will still understand that that was what was intended, but the robot will initially get confused.
Hmm.
Okay?
Hmm.
But over a period of time, it will make out that there's a list of combinations that actually means India only.
Okay.
Okay? So robot
Hmm.
will figure
Hmm.
out that there are 13 to 14 different wrong combinations of the word India, but they
Hmm.
still mean
Hmm.
India.
Okay.
Okay? So it will enhance, and that is what it does using your AI skill.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Okay.
ultimately what happens is we come into a place where robots and work together. So that is actually something that will happen in next let us say 2 to 3 years, where
Hmm.
tomorrow if you go to work, your teammates, some of your teammates might be human, but some might be robots.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have this
Oh.
concept of a virtual worker. Okay,
Hmm.
and it actually is true that a virtual worker is 80% same as human worker. Okay, in what
Okay.
sense? Let us say you go to office, right? You have an ID
Hmm.
card with unique employee number.
Hmm.
Robot also have the same thing. It's a virtual ID card, but it also has a unique ID number. You have
Hmm.
a dedicated workstation. Okay,
Huh.
robots actually tend to have their own workstation. They are called virtual machines. So they are not
Huh.
physically there, but they are virtually there on the server. But they are dedicated machines with dedicated amount of RAM and CPU processor.
Huh.
Okay,
Huh.
you have access to some applications which you need to do your work. Okay, including
Hmm.
there can be different kind of access. Like you can have normal access, you can have administrator access, you can have finance manager
Huh.
access. Okay,
Huh.
the same thing will be applicable to robot as well.
Okay.
Okay, You have a schedule according to which you work. So you come at 9 a.m., leave at 6 p.m. Robots also have a schedule. Okay? They might have a much more hectic schedule, but they have a schedule. Okay? And finally, you report your work to your boss. The robots also do the same thing. So they report their work, how many things they successfully did, and how many things they could not do to somebody.
Okay.
So to 80% of things, the robot thing, like what the way you do things and the way your robot thing does a thing is more or less same. Right? So we have this concept of virtual worker that is coming on.
Okay.
So this was like the end of our today's session.
Okay.
Should you have any questions?
No, as of now, I don't have any.
All right. So,
you answered my questions.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to do a few things. Okay. First of all, I wanted to go to this website UIPATH Academy. Let me put this in chat window for you and register yourself here.
Okay. UIPATH Academy. Okay.
Just hold on. I'll share in chat with. There's a chat window and okay. Reason
Hello.
I say register here is because when we do certification and stuff, we will actually have to do go to this website and solve some quizzes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll be telling you which courses you need to take. Okay.
Okay.
And short circuit this course because what we are learning and what is there in academy is more or less the same thing. But certification comes from the academy, so you need to go to the academy and complete your quizzes there.
Okay. And it is free, na? It's written
Yes,
join
yes, it's absolutely
Academy was free.
It doesn't
Okay,
have any
I'll
cost.
register it. Okay.
So we will continue on the same path. Okay, this was like the basic of it.
Okay.
Basically, introduction to RPA.
RPA, yeah.
And I hope you have understood the basic concept of it. If not, you can come out. Any question that you can think of, write it down in tomorrow's session. We'll start with discussing. If you have any previous questions, okay. And obviously, this was the first session, so it's a bit what you call. It's a bit short, about 35 minutes. Normally, we do it for like 2 hours.
Okay.
Okay. So how we are going to proceed is I'll be taking you through some of the functional things first. And we'll be doing the basic course, then we'll be doing RPA Business Analyst course.
Okay.
And after that, RPA Implementation Manager course.
Okay.
By the time all these courses are complete, your certification for these courses will also be complete.
Okay.
After that, I'll put you to the page who will teach you how to do things technically, as in how to create those automations.
Okay.
That's the general idea.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Right? All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hello?